Well, most of the jobs created are the ones that people who want something better and need something better don't get. Temporary part-time ones with few or no benefits, and that amounts to maybe 80% of the jobs created. And that stuff didn't exist decades ago. Or the ones that did, I mean, they were always part-time jobs. I certainly used them in my small business operation, where if you needed a part-timer because you had extra work, you could call an outfit like Kelly Services, and they always had people to supply, and usually you're talking about people who don't want to work full-time. It could be a housewife who doesn't need full-time employment. She's got her husband for that. So you've got people that want to pick up some extra income, and they go the part-time route. But people today, full-time jobs are disappearing. They're declining. Even in the employment numbers, I believe the latest report showed full-time jobs going down. I believe it showed that, and the hiring that went on was part-time temp. And I mean, the bottom line of those, I mean, these are rotten jobs. These are rotten jobs that don't pay enough, so people who have these type jobs probably need 2 or 3 of them to get by. And if you've got two workers in the household, then you need both people employed maybe in 2 of these jobs. And even then, you're going to have a tough time scraping by. This mobility.
Well, you know, the government anticipated this, and that's why they're trying to data collect on everybody and back into their assets. That's what that's all about. And if they can go digital, which they'd like to, but I don't think they're going to get away with it, they could really put the kibosh on people. But I think, you know, out of the 50 million people who are living under the poverty line, I can assure you at least half of them are working another job off the books. And what has happened is government has created a two-tiered economy. What the percentage is in America, I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say it's about 40% of people who have non-reporting job income. Only half the people in the country pay taxes. And so I know it's a rule of thumb for the IRS that people who have their own businesses, they only report 1/3 of their income. If they didn't, they wouldn't be able to stay in business.
Oh, we were honest, Bob. We were honest. We played the game honestly. Maybe we were stupid, but that's the way we played the game.
No, I've never had that opportunity. People don't mind paying higher taxes for specific reasons, and as long as the continuation of prosperity is there because of what the taxes are being raised for. But we've got a situation today that is way beyond. It is totally and thoroughly impossible to pay back the debt, whether it's governmental or corporate or personal. It's beyond any paying back. And what they're doing is they're using currency, usually the dollar in this case, to finance by debt that which they want to do. And in the process of doing that, they are stopping the progress of the creation of good jobs that would create income to pay back debt. I mean, it's just like somebody said to these people behind the scenes, how do we destroy the country? And they laid that out for them.
Well, they certainly are doing a good job destroying the country, destroying it for the great majority of people in it, Bob. And again, I mean, this is almost like a bad Hollywood script. If I could just wake up out of a sound sleep and remember the way things were decades back when I was growing up, when you were growing up, and seeing what's unfolding now, and thinking, no, this isn't real. This is somebody's idea of a joke, or a B movie or something. But this is actually happening, and it's affecting just untold tens of millions of people who are in such dire straits. And Obama piously talks about the help that he wants to do for people. He's not doing for them; he's doing to them great harm. And the benefits keep rolling out for the bankers and the other corporate favorites, and the wars go on without end, and it's a never-ending destructive cycle. It's got a bad ending, Bob, and again, you sure talk about that.
Well, I think they have wars for profit, political and geopolitical positioning, and to get rid of people. They're very anxious to get rid of maybe 60 or more % of the population. So that's why they do that. And they have the big wars in order to wipe out more people, but when they get a larger problem financially and economically. And that's going to happen, probably. I don't think it's going to happen right away. I think it's a year or more away. You know, everybody was beating their chests when they had all those ships running around the Strait of Hormuz. And I said, look, this is a game. This is entertainment to distract you from the fact that economically and financially your country's falling apart. And nobody's listening.
What better way?
Well, there are people listening, but not enough of them.
Not enough, Bob. What better way to distract people from their own personal misery than to scare them with a phony threat? You know, Iran is a threat to America or to Israel or to other countries in the region, or Syria is a threat. It's astonishing that people actually believe this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you envision Chavez having an armada and sending it to the United States? It's the same thing.
In the 1980s, Bob, I wrote about Ronald Reagan trying to convince the president of Mexico, I think it was de la Madrid at the time. This was during the Contra Wars in Nicaragua and the strife in El Salvador and so on. But this related to the Nicaraguan situation with the Sandinistas, and the Contra Wars were raging. And he tried to convince de la Madrid to convince the Mexican people that the Sandinistas were a threat to invade southern Texas. And the response he got was something to the effect that if he tried to do this, 80 million Mexicans would die laughing. But Americans believe this stuff. They actually believe this stuff, that a small country like Nicaragua could be a threat to America, or a country halfway around the world that threatens no one could be a threat to America, that destructive weapons that don't exist at all exist. Well, they don't exist, and even if they did, they would never be used against America. And you get this stuff hyped, especially on television, and people believe this stuff, and they worry more about their security or terrorists under their beds than the fact that the economy is falling apart, they're losing their jobs and their homes, and this is what they should be focusing solely on, and demanding government do something to help them.
And that's happened over and over and over again through history. And it'll happen again. People want the easy way out. It's human nature. They don't care who rules them. They just want to get through the 80 or so years of life without much pain. And that's the beast that we are, human beings.
It's the cancer, or the disease / the cancer of indifference, Bob. People simply, people in Europe have some spunk. Look what the Greek people are doing. It hasn't done them any good, and I think they need to get a lot more mean and nasty than they've already gotten. They know their government is run by a bunch of crooks. They've got an ex-banker running the country. Nobody elected him. He was appointed by other bankers, and he's the guy in charge, and they've got another deal, ripping them off even more. Their wages keep getting cut. Their benefits, 1,000, 15,000, whatever jobs are going to be laid off on top of all the others. These people are really getting screwed about as big as anybody can be screwed, and they get on the streets and they rage. What they need to do is to storm the Parliament, haul those politicians out by the scruff of the neck, and hang the bastards. Hang the bastards. That's what they need to do. Actually, somebody threw a Molotov cocktail at Papademos' home. They should have thrown more than one.
Oh, I think it was symbolic.
Well, I'm sure it was symbolic.
They're not going to have any deal. And even if they have a deal, you get a new government coming in, and they're going to change the deal.
There was a deal announced, Bob. You don't think it's going to go through?
No, because it wasn't approved by the Parliament. I forgot to tell you that.
I didn't read the article, but the New York Times had a bulletin an hour or two ago about it. Yeah,
well, they're playing it up. They have to approve that. Well, maybe they did. I don't know. Don't know everything. I'll find out when I get off the line.
Check the New York Times. I just saw a headline. I didn't read the article.
Yeah, well, I saw all the numbers, what they want to do. But I think the big number here is that they approve it. And even if they did, get a new government coming in, they're going to say, no, we're not going to do that.
When does the new government come in?
It's supposed to be April 3.
Well, that's getting close.
So that's what the Greeks are holding out for.
And you get the French elections coming up, and if Le Pen wins, you've written about that. You want to say a quick word about Le Pen?
I don't think Marine can win. But I think Holland will win for the socialists. And the guy has never done anything in his life. He's going to be a disaster. But one of the things he wants to do is leave the EU and leave the euro. And so doesn't she.
You think it could happen?
Could happen. Could push the whole thing right over the edge.
That would be the game changer. That would be a Greek bankruptcy, a default. Finally, you say no more. You've reached the red line. No more. We're defaulting. They get out of the euro. The French get out of the euro. Oh, Jesus. All predictions are off.
That's right.
Bob, we're going to continue this next month. We are out of time. Oh, my goodness. This saga certainly is not ending. Always a great program when you come on, Bob. I look forward to more next month.
Well, thank you, and I'll be here. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. And join us this weekend, of course, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Make it a regular habit.